Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Dirk Cup, far side of the floor, kicks it back out up top. Kane Weber, they want Cole Jordan. They like that motion action off the pick from Connor Leinhardt on the inside. Thought about a three, but no. Back to Connor Leinhardt, then to Bryson Neace, who pops a three. Near corner, splash. 8-7, 1-point ball game. The Jays lead, but the Redskins are coming. 40 seconds to go here in the first. And a good Saturday morning to you here on the Saturday Sports Line. 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, wherever you are, this is your wake-up call. I am accompanied by sports analyst Chris McGowan. What's happening, Chris?
Not much. Living the dream, just not my own.
Well, we better say this now, right at the top of the show, and we'll make announcements throughout the show to remind all of you, to let everyone else know that we are taking the next 2 Saturdays off to coincide with all of our area schools' Christmas break. So this will be the last Saturday Sports Line of the 2024 calendar year. Our next Saturday Sports Line will be Saturday, January 11th. And so I just wanted to put that out there. Didn't want people to freak out next Saturday. Oh, what's going on? Why didn't you have a Saturday show? So just putting that out there. We're taking the next 2 Saturdays off as we have the last couple of years, just to coincide with Christmas break. Hey, I want to go to Christmas. I want to see my family. I want to enjoy myself. I'm sure you do too, Chris. We need a couple of weeks off.
I don't know about that.
Well,
maybe.
You bah humbug. Well, you think about it, from August, mid-August, all the way to the end of May, it's every Saturday throughout the school year. So we're going to take this opportunity and enjoy the next couple of Saturdays off with our families, Christmas and New Year's. We wish all of our listeners a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But we look around our area teams last night. We'll get to that in just a second, but let's go over the scores last night. You heard the call there. Bryson Vanice, the freshman, big-time three there. He played very well last night, but the Knox Redskins ended up falling short to their historic rival, the North Judson-San Blue Jays. The Blue Jays beat the Redskins 34-19 in historic Harold Weinberg Gymnasium. They are 3-1 right now on the season. The Redskins slipped to 0-4. Some of our other area teams in action last night, a girls and boys doubleheader. The Tri-Township Lady Tigers beat Boone Grove in Game 1, 51-22. The Lady Tigers are 7-5 on the year. We will have a chance to chat with head coach Christian Porter in the second hour, so stand by for that. We saw the Tri-Township Tigers this past Tuesday. Tough loss to the Culver Lady Cavaliers. They are really bringing the energy. On the boys' game for the Tri-Township Tigers last night, tough loss to Boone Grove, 76-36. The Tigers boys team moves to 2-5. The Culver Lady Cavaliers were in action last night. Huge win over Career Academy as they hosted them at John R. Nelson Gymnasium. 62-4 was the final. The Lady Cavs, we've talked about it. They're bringing the energy. They were able to beat the Lady Tigers in the Tiger Den this past Tuesday with grit and determination. Tough loss to the Lady Jays on Thursday, but they made the Lady Jays have to work for every single point. This Lady Cab team is coming together well. We talked with head coach Adam Neace within the KVB halftime show yesterday or last night during that game in Knox. And, man, he's really happy with where his team's at. 62-4 was the final, Chris. They only allowed Career Academy 4 points, so the Lady Cavs are at 500 at 7-7. We see the Culver boys team take a tough loss on the road to North Miami. 60-12 was the final. The Cavs are 1-5 on the season. The Winnemac Warriors, man, they took a tough loss on the road to Triton. 61-38. The Warriors are 4-3, and from what I'm hearing and seeing, it looks like the Triton boys team is not too bad this year.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Well-coached team. Jason Groves, somebody I played against in high school, played with in the AAU circuit, so somebody I know really well. The Triton Trojans boys program, yeah, pretty good.
You also have an announcement, and we wanted to talk about assistant coach Danny McGowan for the North Judson-San Blue Jays boys football team.
I'd be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to say that this week the Indiana Football Coaches Association announced not only their head coaches of the year but also assistant coaches of the year. Usually the head coaches, it comes down to each class, whoever wins the state championship, usually that's the head coach of the year. Not always, but usually that's how that goes. But then the assistant coach, they name one assistant coach for each class. And I'm just very proud that my brother, the defense coordinator at North Judson, was actually named the 2024 assistant coach of the year.
Wow.
From North Judson. So just very proud of him, and would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity. This microphone stuck in front of my face. I don't care if it's family or not, but I'm just proud of him, and I just want to tell him I love him.
Oh, that is so cool. What an amazing year. What an amazing few years it's been for the Blue Jays. And here it is, December 21st. We're still talking about football.
Right.
So it's that special in this area. Congratulations to assistant coach Danny McGowan. Of course, when I go to practice, I mean, his presence is known and felt throughout the entire area. When you're at practice, you know Coach McGowan's there. So he brings the energy, and you can tell the kids love him. You can just tell.
Yeah, I haven't met too many kids that don't love him, and they're like, when I say who I am, they're like, "Are you Coach D's brother?" Yeah, I'm Coach D's brother. I love Coach D. Well, thank you.
Well, we've got a lot to go over today. We're going to talk with head coach of the Knox Lady Redskins, James Adcock. We'll also talk with head coach of the North Judson-San Lady Blue Jays, Whitney Combs. We'll chat Oregon Davis boys basketball with Larry Sennert. We're hoping to have a chance to talk with head coach of the West Central wrestling team, Kenny Nielsen. He is at a meet today. Doesn't know if he's going to be able to take the call, but he said text me and see if we're able to fit him in. Kind of, it'd be cool if we could get him in the moment, kind of like we did
Coach Hendricks from
Coach
baseball.
Hendricks with baseball. Yeah. That was a fun day.
Yeah, he's coaching first base and doing an interview on the radio. That's pretty cool.
Round it. you hear the kid hit it. He goes, round it. But that was a fun interview. So we hope we get a chance to talk West Central wrestling. Of course, we know the history that Kenny Nielsen has been there, and quite a good wrestling program. And then also we'll chat with Christian Porter, head coach of the Tri-Township Lady Tigers, in the second hour. He's going to be stopping in. So big jam-packed show. Also wanted to bring this up. Harold Welter has a very interesting individual on his Where Are They Now segment this morning. He normally just gives me the Where Are They Now cut, how long it is, but he gave me a list of all this individual's accomplishments. It is Knox 1991 graduate Pete Bradley. You know Pete?
I know Pete.
So this is incredible what all he did. He's a cross-country 4-year runner. Sophomore year was all conference, advanced to sectionals. Junior, same thing. Senior, same thing. He broke new course record at Knox. At Bremen, West Central, LaVille, he broke Knox's cross-country record twice in the same week. Track, 4 years, records. He has records in the 4x100 regional and state qualifier, and the 1600 still holds the 1600 record. And also went to St. Joe College. So Harold Welter, a very interesting Where Are They Now segment. That is in the second hour. We invite all of our listeners to stay tuned for that. But again, this is the last Saturday Sports Line of the 2024 calendar year. We hope to be back Saturday, January 11th. Now we turn to the North Judson-San Blue Jays. It is head coach Kent Chezem. Big win last night over their rival, the Knox Redskins, 34-19. We talked a little bit in the post game last night, Coach. Now that you've had some time to think it over, how did it go for you?
Well, offensively, it's still kind of a struggle right now. You score 34 points, you're not really happy about it, but we did hold them to 19, so the defensive end's not too bad.
Well, they we talked about it, and the Redskins really were kind of taking their time, motion, moving the ball around, and like you said, they really did a good job of moving the ball.
Yeah, they do. They screen a lot. They move the ball a lot. We didn't cause many turnovers. I think we really caused more turnovers out of our zone last night than we did man-to-man, which is usually not the norm. So, it was a tough game. It always is. It's a rivalry game, and you can kind of throw the records out the window on games like that. So it was good to come out with a win.
Yeah, you still see Cole Wilcox. I mean, he's just there on the inside doing his job. We talked about C.J. Sanchez stepping up. He had a really nice and one early on.
Yeah, he did. C.J. played really well. He had a good week of practice, and we started him early in the year, and then Xander Nowak has played really well, and so we kind of put him in the starting lineup. And I think part of that is why Xander played so well early is he did start on the bench, and he got to see what was going on during the game, and then he was able to perform a little better. And so we did the same thing with CJ the last couple of nights, and I think it's worked for him as well. And you get both those two guys going. We got the Twin Towers. So that's kind of fun.
Well, one other thing I wanted to bring up was Logan Bradkey. He seems like he has a nose for the ball.
He does. He's always played that way. And, he's not always orthodox, but he's super competitive athlete. He's kind of got a quiet, understated demeanor, but man, he's a killer on the court. He just competes, and he's got a nose for the ball, and he's got a way to get the ball in the basket. He's been our leading scorer really over the first 4 games and coming off the bench, and so that's really a nice thing for a coach to have.
Yeah. Well, last night Terry couldn't make it, but I wanted to prove I was real when I said this in the pregame show. I'll read it for you. This is what I read, and I usually do keys to the game, coach, and then he gives me keys to the game. Well, I had typed up my keys to the game yesterday afternoon, and this is what I had thought. I said, now if we flip sides, if I'm the head coach of North Judson, I said, here's what has to happen in order to get this win tonight on the road. I'd start in man-to-man on defense to see how we match up mano-a-mano in this rivalry battle. If it gets interesting, switch to zone, see what the Redskins can do against it. Just like the Redskins control the glass, don't allow second chance opportunities, but we did see the Redskins have trouble against the Warriors 11 days ago now on the zone. They kind of have to think twice once they see that 2-3.
Yeah, well, maybe you're sitting in the wrong seat. Come down and sit next to us next time. But yeah, that's kind of the way it worked out for us. Yeah, we did create some turnovers out of the zone. They do a really nice job attacking that as well, too. I think our length kind of bothered them a little bit last night, and our depth. I'm still struggling as a coach trying to figure out substitution patterns and things like that. Last night we got Josiah McDaniel back, so we were playing 9 guys before that, and last night, we add him in there, and you get a guy like Josiah on the floor, and you really don't want to take him off the floor. I think our guys are going to have to buy into a little different philosophy. Last year we were playing 6 and 7 guys, and sometimes we backed off our pressure just so we could make it through the game, because we didn't have the depth. We're going to have to dial it up a little bit, and I'm going to have to figure out how to change practice in a way that allows our guys to feel like they can play harder and play more of a frenzy. There just weren't enough possessions for us last night. The first possession of the second half, I think we played defense for about a minute and a half, and then we gave up a step back 3. And we can't play that way if we're going to utilize our depth. I think we're going to have to figure out a way to extend our defense. Just play a little harder. Yeah.
Well, and then this is my next question to follow up on the 2-3 zone. If you were ever guarded in 2-3 zone, what's some of the things that you're kind of telling your kids how to attack that?
Probably the same things Coach Breeden is. I mean, they were trying to attack the short corner and the high post, get quick ball reversals. There's certain ways we like to screen the zone as well. We both do a lot of the same things, and I don't think basketball is rocket science. There's some basic things that you do. Everybody has their own philosophy. But, we always think if we can get the ball in the high post or the short corner, that's pretty tough for a zone defense to handle.
You talked about Josiah McDaniel, and he had that one play where he took it inside. And I think the question was, how's he going to be feeling off that ankle injury? And, I mean, last night showed he was our athlete, or he was our player of the game. And, I mean, he really did a good job of being able to play the style of ball he likes to play.
Yeah, he's such a strong kid. He works really hard in the weight room, and he's really proud of that. He ought to be. And he's really got a high basketball IQ. I mentioned last night after the game, they came out of a timeout and they ran an elevator screen, which is like a double screen at the free throw line, and we have a special way that we guard that. Well, we haven't really talked about it this year. We just haven't had the time, and we guard it a little bit differently than we guard everything else. And boy, just on the fly, he recognized it and shut it down. And you got a senior like that can make some of those plays. I mean, he's a really, really smart player. He's not 100% physically yet. He would tell you that he is, because that's who he is. Because that's the way he is.
He's been saying that to me for weeks.
I know, and he is one of the absolute toughest kids I've ever coached, and sometimes he's too tough, but he really played well last night in his first chance to play this year, and I just think things will even get better for him.
Yeah, 3 wins in a row right now. You've already been in overtime twice. I think that proves in the late game situations you've got nerves of steel.
Well, we got kids who compete, and they just kind of find a way. I noticed that about our team this summer in a lot of our games. We played a lot of close games, and in summer basketball is not nearly the same, but man, we make some really silly mistakes, but we just make enough plays to win games, and kind of followed through with that during the regular season so far.
Well, you look ahead, River Forest is next. And really, the big thing that sticks out to me is you get quite a bit of games here. As late as you started the season, you get some time here before your first conference matchup against Oregon Davis on January 11th. So next is River Forest. Then you'll travel to LaVille and then Griffith. You'll see River Forest 2 days after Christmas. So a little break here for Christmas, but then 2 days later, you're back to work. What do you know about them?
Yeah, River Forest is 4-1. They're really good. They've got a lot of guys coming back from last year. The JV put it on us last year as well, so they're pretty deep, pretty athletic. We've had some trouble turning the ball over, and if we don't fix some of that, it's going to be a real issue against a team like River Forest. We gave our guys the day off this morning.
Really?
Yeah, and it's been a real grind with them jumping back in, and we kind of weighed the positives and negatives of it. Yeah, we really have some work to do on the court, but we don't play till next weekend.
Right.
So we'll get back at it. It was nice to have a few days of practice. We played 2 games back to back, and we talked, and a lot of times you think you're going to improve more between game 1 and game 2 than any other game. Well, yeah, if you have some time to practice.
But
we didn't. We played Friday and Saturday. Then we practiced on Monday and played on Tuesday. So 3 games there with only 1 practice. It was nice to get a couple days after that and get ready for the Knox game. So hopefully we can kind of make another jump the next 2 weeks with basically just 1 game on the weekend. And our guys are trending in the right direction. We're not anywhere close to being a finished product.
Sure.
We're still a working project or process.
Right, you're still working. Well, and then another thing we've never really talked about is this is your 30th year coaching Indiana high school basketball.
Making me feel old.
Well, and then last night, that was your 390. I don't know if John Harrell's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was, from what they're saying, that was your 390th career win. I mean, you've been doing this a long time, Coach.
Thanks for reminding me how old I am.
You wouldn't be able to tell. You're in pretty good shape.
Well, appreciate it. Yeah, it's been fun. When I started this, I didn't know how long I would do it, but I always kind of had a sense I'd be a lifer.
Really? You knew?
I love being around the kids. I love the competition. I like the chance to maybe be a positive impact on some of the youth. I think sometimes people don't realize what a positive impact they are on you. As a coach, I'm still learning all the time. I'm always trying to figure out how to do things better. Just like right now, I'm trying to figure out how to make our team play better because I know that we can. And I love being a part of a team. I think, you hear those pro athletes and when they retire, the thing they miss the most is like the locker room.
Right.
I love our coaching staff.
Keeps you young.
Yeah, it does. I love the camaraderie of the coaching staff and the players, and it's just fun to be a part of a team.
Last Saturday, I know you don't want too many accolades, but last Saturday I thought this was a really big compliment from Terry Minix. You guys, he called out exactly what he thought you guys were going to run, got it into Cole Wilcox, gets it inside, does that floater, and you guys win the game in overtime against South Central in the postgame show. He said, I had the full utmost confidence that head coach Chezem was going to make a good call there. He said, in his opinion, you're one of the best coaches in the state of Indiana. And coming from him, that's quite a big compliment.
Well, yeah, he's been around. I appreciate that. But, we have good players. It's again, I told you last night, it's not rocket science. I called the play, but so did Cole Wilcox. He told me on the way to the bench at the timeout what he wanted to run. And, he's one of our best players. And if Cole wants the ball, we're going to find a way to get it to him. So, you're a product as a coach of your players, and I've had a lot of good ones. And, I've been fortunate to have a lot of kids go on after basketball and be really successful in the things they do in life. And I think that's as much fun for me to watch and be a part of as anything.
Well, Coach, it's always an honor to talk to you. Big win last night against your heated rival, the Knox Redskins. Another win at historic Harold Weinberg Gymnasium. Good luck against River Forest, but more importantly, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you.
All right, that is head coach of the North Judson-San Blue Jays. It's Kent Chezem here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk Knox Lady Redskin basketball with head coach James Adcock on the other side. As here's a big three from Josiah McDaniel. Splash, 11-7. They answer on the next possession. Christensen lobbed to C.J. Sanchez on the inside, and he gets the and one to go. C.J. Sanchez, 6'5", checked in a few moments ago. This junior, he's a handful.
One of our hometown businesses here in our area in Monterey, it's LAP Waste.
Being able to recycle is one of our main goals at LAP Waste. Being able to say that we only take about 8% of our trash to the dump is pretty impressive for us, and we hope to keep building on that.
We service an 80-mile circle from Monterey. If you have a small job, big job, or just have a one-time, we are here to make a difference in this area.
And that phone number, Kirby?
574-542-4019.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
Downs to take it out of bounds underneath their own basket. Finds Kane Weber. Nice move, slashing inside. He gets it to go off the glass. 5-2. The Redskins get on the board. We welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. I am with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We are transitioning to talk Knox Lady Redskin basketball with head coach James Adcock. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Not too bad. It's good to talk with you. We had a chance to chat last night. Have a little bit of a break here. Your last game was 5 days ago on December 16th. But you've got this Plymouth tournament coming up, Coach. That's always a fun one.
Yeah, it'll be our first year at the Plymouth tournament. I think it's the first year Plymouth is doing a girls mixed with the boys tournament.
Interesting.
And so it'll be interesting how that goes. It'll be a long day on Friday and Saturday, but we're hoping to get in there and compete and do well. And we drew Plymouth as well as the boys did, I believe. So we have the late game on Friday.
Nice.
Well, yeah, I guess it is now. Saturday this morning.
It's happening quick.
It's happening quick. But, yeah, we're getting ready for that, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, just to let the listeners know, I do know that Plymouth tournament, along with the Knox Lady Redskins playing, that game will be on our other station, KVB's WYMR. That's Max 98.3 FM with Rusty Nixon. So don't worry, Redskin Nation. KVB has got you covered as we wish the Lady Redskins good luck. But, Coach, it's been a couple tough weeks here for you.
Sure.
What have you and the girls been going through?
Well, every season brings its own setbacks, brings its own trials, and I've been proud of these girls. They get out there and they fight every game. We are relatively young, especially from the bench. We're starting 2 seniors, Port and Rose. We have a junior in Ryland and Presley, and then we have a sophomore in Riley, and then we have a freshman point guard in Serenity. And so these girls get out there and give it all, and then the girls coming off the bench. We got Nora coming back, and she just came back from an ACL injury, so we're trying to put her minutes out there gingerly. We're trying to give Maddie some time as well. She's been struggling with some sickness, but it's been a tough few weeks. But I look at these girls and they fight hard, and they get on the floor every day. They come to practice every day. They're not late. They're not griping and complaining in practice. The spirit is high, and so there's different wins we can look at right now other than points. I mean, I know people don't like that, but that's what we have to do right now, sure, and get ourselves ready for a postseason.
I mean, you had a big win over Hebron, 71 points that night. You were able to get the ball in the hoop there, 71-13. You only held them to 13 points. You had another big win against Jimtown, which is a conference foe, 53-29, and then South Central, which South Central is now really coming along. So, I mean, you guys got the better of South Central earlier on, 45-28. So you guys have shown signs of being able to make things happen.
You can always look back at a game and say, okay, here was a pivotal point. Here was a place that we could have done something different, or, it was like even last night, watching that game a little bit last night at the boys, and it's that 3 at the end of the half. It's that 3 at the end of the quarter, and it's the same thing for us as well. That's that 3 here. It was that defensive letdown here, and so you look back at some of those, like we would have been in that game in the fourth quarter if it wasn't for that's XYZ, and but it is what it is, and we're excited about our season. We're excited about getting out there every day. We think we can really compete at this Plymouth Christmas tournament. We believe that we can get there on the floor and make a big difference.
Okay, I'm going to ask a tough question here. So every year, you come into a season as a head coach, and you look at your team, and you look at the schedule, and you say, hey, I think we're going to be really good at being able to do this. Mm-hmm. So 14 games into the season, what has this team exceeded your expectations at?
I think, one, they're very loyal. Girls, 2, I still feel like our defense can rise. I mean, our defense has been decent for certain aspects of the game, but to put that all together for 4 quarters. So we have overachieved sometimes on defense, and then we have underachieved on defense. So, but we're still working on that together. We're still trying to figure out some things on the offense as far as like when to move, when not to move, when to set screens, when not to set screens, and that's coming along as well. And I feel like we have come into the season, and we knew we had some young girls coming together, and then when we had some girls step away from the program in the midnight hour, and realized we weren't going to have a JV, that really kind of hurt us to a certain aspect, because now we can't put these girls into a JV situation. We're throwing them out there on a varsity situation, and the speed's just totally different than 8th grade. Right. But they've done well, and they have they continue to grow, and they continue to get better and better each practice.
Something that I'm looking at the schedule here. You're guaranteed at least one game in the tournament. So including that game, that's 7 games left of the season. It's kind of crazy. We'll see you on January 7th at Winnemac for I call it the War on 35. I'm coining that term. Yeah. And you'll be at Winnemac. Then you'll see conference foe Tippy Valley. That'll be the last conference game of the year. You'll host Griffith. You'll travel to Kankakee Valley. Then you'll travel to see the Lady Jays again this year. You always play the Lady Jays twice. And then to finish off the season, Culver, they've been playing really well lately too.
Yeah, and they had their struggles last year.
Yes.
And, the coach is doing a great job, and they've really got that program running in the right direction. And that's why we tell the girls every day in practice. And the girls come in, and we kind of have what we call, the meeting at the key, and we just talk about things that we're trying to accomplish. And girls are interested in that fact because they kind of like to know what's the plan today. And boys are like, let's just get this over, let's compete, let's get this done. And girls are like, what's the plan? And then they can mentally prepare. And but it just kind of, it's been fun because when you lose and you think they're going to come in and they're going to be they're going to be grumpy, they're going to be complaining, and they haven't done that, and that just really shows the caliber of these girls and what they want to do and how they want to play. We've seen great leadership from our seniors and juniors. We've seen our freshmen really take on and just like we want to continue to get better. I did one off the bench as Elise. She's a junior as well, and she gave us some pretty good minutes against St. Joe, and so we just got to continue to put this thing together and continue to work hard each practice, and we're trying to focus on what we do well and continue to just monopolize on that each and every practice. So when we get into a game, we're not looking back and say, what are we supposed to be doing right now? We'll know what we're doing and do it well.
It's more than just one person on a basketball team, but one individual that I really kind of feel for in terms of dealing with injuries over the last couple of seasons is Portland Minix. Mm-hmm. And I know that from talking with athletic director Neil Minix, he told me she had dealt with a tailbone injury last year, and it always adds up. And she can shoot the lights out.
She's a great shooter, and she's a competitor. She dealt with the broken tailbone at the end of last year.
She fights through all this.
Yeah. I asked her, I said, well, how come you couldn't bend down and get that ball during the sectional last year? And she's like, my tailbone's broken. This after the game. My tailbone's broken. I said, and you're telling me now this was 2 weeks into the thing. And so she is tough. And so then she come in this year and she had a hamstring injury, which you're still dealing with. If you see her, it's wrapped. But she gets out every day. She leads the team, her and Rose, and they just continue to do the best that they can. And she fights through it. And but she's a great shooter, and she just I think what she does for the classmates of hers that watch her and with her in practice every day, they see that attitude, they see that approach, and it helps them have the same attitude and approach.
Now, you mentioned Rose Webb, another person that does well on the inside. She can position herself and get the rebounds pretty well.
We're not the tallest team. I think our tallest girl's 5'6", probably 5'7", 5'8", and it's probably Rose, maybe Maddie. Nora gets out there too, but we're not going to intimidate teams with size. So we've been working on positioning, and we work on catching the ball with both hands. We work on the fundamentals of that, making a good strong move, because typically when you play somebody who's taller than you, they think they can block your shot.
Right.
And so that fake. And one thing we've been trying to teach our girls, whether they're a guard, a post, or inside somewhere, fake first, then make your move. And that's difficult because you're like, I feel like I can do this right now, and so they try to make that move. Well, then sometimes they do get blocked.
Sure.
But yeah, Rose has done a great job of leadership into this. You think about our juniors, Rylan and Presley and Elise, and they just do a great job as well. I mean, all the girls, we could name all one by one, like you said, but they bring every girl brings something to the table, and what they bring to the table is something different than what the other girl brings to the table. And if we can put all that together, it's that 5 cylinders that just kind of work together to get that motor going down the thing, and we're getting there. And the wins and losses don't show that, but we see it as a coaching staff that, okay, we have gotten better here. We are faster here. Oh, we are doing more here. And so, Friday nights, Saturday nights, when we play and people see something that happens and they see maybe this hole and like, oh, we need to work on it. And we are, but sometimes they don't see all the holes that have been covered, and we may have had one gaping hole here, but we covered 5 different holes that no one sees because they weren't in practice to see that.
Well, I want to ask this as well. What's your schedule? I know because you're in this tournament now, 2 days after Christmas. How's the schedule breaking down through the Christmas break?
We're practicing every day through Christmas.
Even on Christmas Day?
No, I'm just messing. We're not doing that.
Boy, the phone calls.
Yeah,
your phone's already probably ringing.
We got practice Christmas Eve.
We're going three a day until the tournament. We've been in the grind of this, and many of our girls came right out of the volleyball season, didn't get a single break, kind of like what I heard with the North Judson coach with the football team, and probably with our boys basketball team as well. So we're taking it day by day. We got today off. We come back on Monday, take Christmas Eve, Christmas Day off, and then we're back on Thursday. And so we just walk through that, and there's probably 1,000 different ways we could do this, and this is just the way we have chosen to kind of go about this. And I want the girls there mentally, physically, with energy. And I joke about having practice every day because I'm a gym rat. I could do that. That would be fine with me. But I would, like you said, I'd have a lot of phone calls, and Neil would probably take me in his office and let me know what I could and couldn't do at that point. So, but it's going to be a great week of prep. We're coming in early on Monday, where I'm coming in early on Thursday, and then we're going to be ready on Friday.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming in and talking. I know it's been tough lately, but you guys are keeping up the fight, staying positive as always, and I appreciate you coming in.
Hey, thank you for having me, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you and your family.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, that is head coach of the Knox Lady Redskins. It's James Adcock here on the Saturday Sports Line. They are in that Plymouth tournament this coming week. You will be able to catch that game on our other station. Yeah, we have two stations, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WYMR, that's Max 98.3 FM with Rusty Nixon on December 27th. KVB's got you covered. We're going to take a break and come back. We are going to the other side of the county. We're going to talk with North Judson-San Pierre Lady Blue Jays head coach Whitney Combs up next.
So let's see, it'll rain a sunny day, I know, shining down like water.
Bragging rights are on the line. The fans are starving for it as it's inside to Cole Wilcox off the glass, and he gets it to go. Redskins getting it in to Dirk Huff. He'll cross the timeline. They beat the press. Back to Cole Jordan. Dump off. Connor Leinhardt off the glass. They beat the press, and the Jays didn't get back quick enough. The Redskins bring it within 4. 8-4 is the score. 1:10 to go in the first.
Days before, sun is cold and rain is hot. I know.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, agriculture has been a cornerstone of our business for more than 135 years. Our personal relationships within the ag community run deep for multiple generations. If you're looking for a financial partner that knows, understands, and supports agriculture, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Isaac Blue, Ag Banker at First Farmers. Come into our Knox, North Judson, or Culver branches, or visit us online at ffbt.com when you're ready to talk about growing your operation. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student-athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere. Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox. Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989. Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Cole Jordan crosses the timeline. Far corner, Bryson Neace fakes the three, driving baseline, then back out up top. Stolen by Javen Christensen. He read the passing lane well, and he will lay it in easily. 17-9, the Jays lead.
And we are back for more from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. We are talking North Judson-San Pierre Lady Blue Jay basketball with head coach Whitney Combs. I've got her on the line. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Mitch. I'm doing well. What about you?
Not too bad. You guys are really playing good basketball right now, Coach. You're on a 10-game winning streak. You haven't had a tough loss since November 9th. These girls are really gelling well. Of course, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, Cailyn Tunis. We invite all our Lady J fans to stay tuned to the top of the second hour. We will get to hear from Cailyn. But, Coach, things are rolling well. How do you feel?
They really are for us. 10 in a row for us right now isn't, and it's not the goal for us. We've been taking it one game at a time. The goal we have for this team is to be the best team we can be at the end of the year going into sectional time. It makes it really hard for us because we play everyone in our sectionals, during our season. So everyone really sees what we can do well. So we really have to hone in on working on the things that we don't do well and get better at those. Right now we're finding ways to win, and as a coaching staff, we're really proud of the girls for always coming into battle.
2 games stick out in this 10-game stretch for me. It's the game against Couts. You guys won in a tight one, 39-35, and then the game we were at just on Thursday night against the Culver Lady Cavs. You guys were able to win that game 39-34. It kind of shows me when things are tough, your girls are responding.
They sure are. That was something we really wanted to work on, coming this summer. And into our season, right? How do we respond when things get hard? And, a lot of times we don't come out when we strong and play our best. But at halftime, they get it together and they come out and they respond really well. And that's great for us to be able to do that, because in sectional time, things don't always go your way. So being able to do that now in the season should help us in the long run.
We talked about it in our first interview we had on to start the season a few weeks ago about your goals for this team. Now that things are looking things are looking great, Coach. Have the goals changed any? Have you added anything in mind that you would like this team to achieve?
No, just one game at a time, be the best team we can be, take care of ourselves, and, the wins will happen, and I think every goal for a coach is, tournament time when the score is like 0-0, what are we going to do, right? We want our girls to win. We want us to play to the best of our ability at that time. So, just working each practice and getting our girls better every practice is our goal.
There were several games that you had key players out due to injury. Glad to see Kylie Lehigh back out onto the court. She did so well against the Lady Cavs this past Thursday. But Cailyn Tunis really stepped up as the sophomore coach in that 5-game stretch, as we stated for her Athlete of the Week. When we talk about it in the Athlete of the Week interview, she averaged 25.4 points and really stepped up and put the team on her back from what it looks like.
She really did. It's really crazy that she's only a sophomore.
Right?
Yeah, she can really put the ball into the basket. She wants to be that scorer for us. And when she was doing really well for us, our team is just that much better, She's going to have teams start to key in on her. We've started to kind of see that. So we need to get her being able to, move without the ball, get open shots. And if she's not getting open shots, your teammates, they can step up too. And then that's going to take a little bit of pressure off of you, so it'll open it back up for her.
10-2 on the year. You travel to West Central a couple of days after Christmas, so you've got some time here to enjoy with the family. But West Central, as we talked in the Collins Insurance postgame show with Terry Minix, West Central's going to try to do some of the same things you guys like to do.
Yeah, they beat us last year in overtime, and I hope our team remembers how that went down and really want to come out and win. They have a really great team. Their coach is really great. He's brought that program back. So when I used to play, West Central was always really, really, really good. So I know he's going to have his team ready to play. They have that Bishop girl back. She was out for a while. And then the DeMoss girl down low, which will give us some trouble. And then if you complement that with all their guards that can shoot it, it makes them a really dangerous team. So
yeah. So now we talk about schedule this week. How are you handling Christmas?
So we did give them the day off yesterday. We're dealing with some injuries and some sicknesses still. We had practice this morning. They're currently practicing right now. My coaches are handling that. And then we'll have practice on Monday. We'll have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, and then we'll come back and hit it hard on the 26th and prepare for the West Central game.
What's going on at practice today? Anything important?
I don't really know. I'll find out when I get out there, I guess.
I'm holding you up, Coach. I appreciate your time
you're
this
fine.
morning. But it also showcases that you've got a good coaching staff that can step up and make things happen for you as well.
Yep, they're really great.
Well, you see West Central, you'll then have off for the new year, but then right back to work January 3rd. You'll host Tri-Township. They've been dealing with some injuries as well. We saw them on Tuesday take a tough loss to the Culver Lady Cavaliers. You kind of got the other end of the Cavs on Thursday, but you were able to fight through that game. The Cavs really are bringing some confidence right now. But then you, after the 3rd, you'll have 6 days off and host Kankakee Valley, and then it's right back into the grind. January 14th, you'll have a game, the 16th, the 18th, the 21st, 23rd, 25th, and then the 31st of January will be the final regular season game of the year. I can't believe we're at this point already, Coach. At this point in time, what is the message to your team towards finishing this season out strong?
And we just have to come in every practice ready to work and get better. All the other teams are, they're going through the same thing. Practices, games, we just got to outwork everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your message to Blue Jay Nation at this point in time? I'm telling you what, Coach, they are passionate fans. Every time we get to the nest, even last night at Harold Weinberg Gymnasium, they show up in full force. They are huge supporters. What's your message to them right now? You're sitting at 10-2. They love watching your girls play.
I mean, Blue Jay Nation always shows up for everyone. We appreciate them coming out. Just continue to come out and support these girls. They worked really hard, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Final question. You'll see the Knox Lady Redskins again. We just got done talking with head coach James Adcock a few moments ago. That'll be the second to last game of the year. I always love how you guys play each other twice a year. You were able to get the better of the Lady Redskins 53-36. I guess this is a half-step question first. How's Kaya Burkett doing?
Kaya Burkett actually had surgery on her ACL yesterday. I think she's doing pretty well. We're going to go stop over and see her after practice today.
Nice. And
so
then
hopefully we can get her on the road to recovery for next year.
And Kylie Lehigh is back full-time now.
I mean, we saw that on Thursday.
Yeah.
We've been kind of babying her the last few games back, but I'd say after her performance on Thursday, she's back.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch your girls play, Coach. It means a lot for you to take the time at practice. I know you guys are busy over there doing what you guys do best, so keep up the winning ways, and we will talk soon. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Thank you, Mitch. Same to you guys.
All right, that is head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Lady Blue Jays. It's Whitney Combs here on the Saturday Sports Line. We appreciate her time. Shout out to the Lady Jays. They are playing really, really good basketball. If you have a chance to catch them, you need to. We're going to take a break and come back. We're going to talk to our third school in Stark County, Oregon-Davis. It's time to talk some boys basketball with head coach Larry Sennert on the other side.
Rebounded by Dirk Huff. Here comes Huff. Step back 16-footer, and that is his shot. Dirk Huff likes that. We saw it against the Winnemac Warriors 10 days ago. He creates space by that jab step back, pops it from 14. Cash money.
Around, and I knew there was no turning.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, agriculture has been a cornerstone of our business for more than 135 years. Our personal relationships within the ag community run deep for multiple generations. If you're looking for a financial partner that knows, understands, and supports agriculture, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Isaac Blue, Ag Banker at First Farmers. Come into our Knox, North Judson, or Culver branches, or visit us online at ffbt.com when you're ready to talk about growing your operation. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Listen for more insight in local high school sports on the Saturday Sports Line. Here's your sports director, Mitch Columbi.
Back for more from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. This is the Saturday Sports Line. We transition to Oregon Davis to talk boys basketball with head coach Larry Sennert. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Big game tonight against the Tri-Township Tigers. Of course, we remember that game last year at Tri-Township. While it didn't go your way, it provided that was probably one of the best games.
Back and forth.
Man, was that a lot of fun. And, they're having some struggles right now. They took a tough loss last night to Boone Grove. But you guys are coming in tonight and still searching for that win. And I know you guys are getting very hungry. I know the players, and they're probably starving for this one tonight.
Yeah, they are. They continue to come in every day and work hard. We put the last two games, we played Wheeler, played them pretty well, just couldn't quite finish the game, struggled shooting the ball a little bit, something that we have in the past. And then, of course, we played the other night, New Prairie, big athletic team. We had the game. It's easy to say, but we led up until the last 2 minutes, led the whole game. And then just, we're trying to learn how to win. We're trying to learn how to play together. Those are two huge keys for our team, playing together with each other and more about we than me. And with that being said, then finding a way to just finish the game. And we're coming. Those kids come to practice, as I've mentioned several times, every day. They seem a little more focused. They're growing. It's a credit to Coach Wiles helping me, and we're trying to change a lot of things, and a lot of good things are happening. It may not seem like it on the scoreboard yet, but it will.
Yeah, we talked about Marquette Catholic. You kind of knew when we last talked that they were going to be a tough game, but we were getting score updates from the New Prairie game this past Tuesday. From what I could tell, you guys were leading at some point.
We led the whole game up until the last 2 minutes. We got off to a good start, shot the ball well, did the things that we're capable of doing, made them play a little bit more of our style of basketball, if you want to say that. And they were forced to do some things they didn't like. We did the few things pretty well, which dictated why we were leading the game. And then as a result, we couldn't finish, down the stretch.
Yeah, you talk about that. You got to learn how to win. And it's a process. A lot of people don't understand that. You get put in a situation that you're not accustomed to and what it takes to persevere. So again, like I said, you got to trust the process and the kids. Hopefully, what was the biggest thing they took away from that loss that you think that they can apply to tonight?
I think they had a lot of fun. The first three quarters, it was good basketball, a lot of good things.
They're enjoying themselves.
And it was a lot more. There was more we involved in it. The only problem was when they made a run at us, I had to call a timeout, and, 5 kids come over to the bench with their heads down. It's like, oh, here we go again. And you have to move on to the next pass, next dribble, next shot, next play, and, don't look back.
Next question I have is these last 2 games, you were within 5. So where the other games were kind of got away from you, you guys were right there, like you said, against Wheeler and New Prairie. So you guys are showing improvements.
Well, they're improving. They're improving every day. Like I say, we do a lot of things, and the kids are working hard. Normally, let's face it, when you don't win games, there's always some finger pointing, possibly, it's this, that, or another, and sometimes that just doesn't bode well as the team. Overall, these kids are pretty well staying focused, and they're doing good things, and they want to win. They want to get better. I just don't know if they quite realize as a group what it takes to be that, and that goes back to playing together and finding a way to win.
Well, it should be a lot of fun tonight as we see you guys take on another one of our area teams, the Tri-Township Tigers. This will be the last game of 2024 for you guys. The next game will be in the new year on January 3rd. You host North Miami. So what's the schedule look like between today and January 3rd?
Well, we'll take a couple days off, of course, for Christmas, but we're going to continue to go to work. That's one good quality. The kids, like, they're texting right now, wanting to know what time we're doing this, so that, they still care. They still want to win. They're still focused. They just, like I say, we just got to get it going together. We've got the train on the tracks, but we're just not. We're not going to where we want to go yet, but we're going to.
And it all starts with the point guard. How's DJ Garland handling things?
DJ's been improving. We've got to get him just to move a little quicker at times and a little more confidence. But that pretty well, the confidence goes along with playing together and finding a way. We all need to have more confidence, and like I say, it's a process, but. They're not giving up, and we're not giving up.
A matchup I'm looking forward to tonight is Tri-Township Tigers' Dylan Stewart and Carson Matthew on the inside. Matthew, he gets the ball in the low block, one or two dribbles. He can become a problem quickly, just as Dylan Stewart. It could be a battle on the inside tonight.
It sure could. Last year it was kind of a battle the same way. It just, the difference than last year was we had kids that missed free throws down the stretch, or we win that game.
Sure.
I mean, it's easy to say now looking back, but...
Blaine Rust, he had graduated now, but he had that. I mean, the game-winning shot, if you can remember last year, it was about 15 feet on the right side of the court, fading away. So that's a tough shot to make, and the D was there. You guys had it up to the last second. You almost, hit that half-court heave by Connor Frazier. So I'm licking my chops for tonight. I know you want to win, but I'm licking my chops just to see a good basketball game, a fight back and forth. I'm excited, Coach.
It should be a good game. I think,
And this time it's at your house.
Yeah. Yeah, well, sometimes that doesn't mean anything,
But
depends on who Aubrey hired for refs, That's, now, she brought donuts last week, and I didn't bring nothing this week, so But
it's all right. It's all good.
So what's it look like? You getting ready? What do you go through on game day? How does your game day preparations as a head coach? What do you like today? After your interview here, what are you going to do?
We'll have a walkthrough earlier before the game tonight. It's going to be a longer day today because it's the Hall of Fame night tonight. So you've got festivities going on, which is all good. Aubrey's got that all orchestrated. But so we'll get in there before an hour before possibly too, and then we'll do a little walkthrough. Just go over a couple things. We had a good practice last night. Things look good. It's just it all comes down to we, not me, and that's going to be the difference in what happens with the rest of our season.
So, tonight's the Hall of Fame game for Oregon Davis. The girls' game is not being played.
Correct.
But the boys' JV has been moved to tonight.
Yeah,
so it's just going to be a boys' varsity, JV varsity regular game tonight.
And we got a little sickness. We got 3 kids that didn't practice yesterday. So sickness is going through there, but that's not an excuse. We'll be there ready to play.
What do you have to see today? Is there anything you guys have been working on that you're harping you got to see tonight or see something better?
Just play together. We have to play together because, somebody gets hot, it's fine to get them the ball, but you can't say, okay, I'm not going to pass the ball there because this kid's got 16 points or 20 points and I don't. We got to play together. Yeah. We play together. We're a different team. When we practice together and in practice we share the ball and do good things, we're a better team. But we can't be individuals. Individuals aren't going to win the game for us.
Someone else that I think does a good job, he's got a nose for the ball, is Brady Danford.
Brady Danford's done a tremendous job. The Wheeler game, I think he had 17 rebounds and 16 points.
Wow.
He can, for his height, and he gets after it, man. He's a worker. But, there's other kids that help him, make him better. And Keegan Goebel, he had 16 points in our last game. And he just, here's a kid that's been playing JV but comes to practice every day, works hard. And he got his first varsity start the other night. And,
wow. Well, the passion's there, Coach, when you watch. What's Christmas look like at the Sennert household?
I don't know yet. It's hard to tell.
Are you a 24 shopper?
I'm not. I don't do any shopping.
Probably going to depend on how tonight goes.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not much for all that stuff. I know I should be, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, Coach. What would be your message to Bobcat Nation who's listening right now and hopes they get out in full force and pack the den tonight?
Support these guys. These kids work hard. They, like I say, to repeat myself, they come every day. Their record is not good, but they still come in and try to get better, and that's a credit to them. So come in and support them and cheer them on, and help them see what's out there to make us a better team.
You can say you can answer this question however you want.
I'm not going to.
You can answer, but whatever you want to say. But defensively, what do you think needs to happen tonight against the Tigers? Because they're going to be coming in hungry, looking for a win too. They got beat, by Boone Grove. Tough game for them last night. They're going to come in with some vengeance. Defensively, what do you think you guys need to step up on?
We just got to close out on shooters, know where the ball's at all the time, and rebound. Rebound has been a huge key for us, and we have to, their big kid can rebound the ball, and we cannot let him get up on the glass. Second chance points, that's kind of basically what got us to the New Prairie game. We let them have a couple extra chances off missed shots. Can't let that happen,
Yeah, I'll go to my grave thinking rebounding is a hustle stat.
It is. Everybody thinks
it's all heart.
Playing defense is the same thing. It's a mindset. You have to have the mindset you're going to play defense. You can't pick and choose.
Right.
You can't close out and guard the guy one possession and take two possessions off.
Right.
You talk about the process of learning how to win, and the thing that I strived, back when I was at Tri-Township, talking, losing close games or whatever, and watching film, and the kids, in the moment, something happens kind of goofy or whatever, and the kids are laughing, and that aggravates me to no end, because you never know. You lose a game by a last-second shot or whatever, but there's like 25 different instances that happen in the first three quarters that, hey, if you just make this play, we're not in that situation.
Right.
And you got to take every play that way, and it's like it's win or lose on every single
right.
possession.
We were trying to win quarters. That was our goal that night.
Right.
The last, win a quarter. So we won the first quarter, got the second quarter. They made a good run at us in the second quarter, but we still withstood and had the lead going in halftime. The third quarter had a decent quarter. In the fourth quarter, we just kind of, that's the quarter we have to find a way to finish. And like you say, you can't let a bad possession dictate what you're going to do in the next possession. And that's a habit we have where we hang our head or, hey, I made a mistake, so I'm not going to play as hard this possession. And you have to play harder.
Right. And I would actually break it down to we would play 4-minute games, mini games. Half a quarter.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, okay, we won that 4 minutes. Let's go. Yeah, we won that first. And you ask any one of my girls that have played for me over the last 8 years or 7 years, whatever it was, what's the most important 3 minutes of any basketball game? And they'll tell you first 3 minutes of the third quarter.
And another, Coach Garrett Wiles helping this year, came on and doing a tremendous job. He's got the mindset where he can yell and scream like I do in a positive way. But so it's more of, they see both of us trying to, we're both seeking the same thing here. We're both after the same thing. Yeah. And it is, then it's, if we could get the kids to have the same passion, then we'll get there.
Hall of Fame night tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Dunbar from 03 will be inducted between the JV, still a full JV game?
Yes.
So full JV game, a little Hall of Fame induction tonight between that game and the varsity game. So we'll plan to go live a little after 7 Eastern, 6 Central. We hope all of our listeners join us. Should be a battle tonight, Coach. I appreciate you coming in and talking to us, setting the table for tonight's game against the Tri-Township Tigers.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for your support, both of you.
No, absolutely. We appreciate you.
Good luck tonight, Coach.
Yeah, good luck tonight. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right. That is head coach of the Oregon Davis Bobcats. It's Larry Sennert here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to go to the top of the hour. News and weather coming your way. We will then have our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week interview with North Judson-San Pierre Lady Blue Jay, Cailyn Tunis. That's coming up shortly.
A blue ocean view, free to go with the flow anywhere that
now to Tegan Johnson, then to Dirk Cuff, step back deep, 2, no, big time 3, Dirk Cuff, 22-14, he creates the space, the Jays go to man, and the Redskins attack. Huff, top of the key, swings it near side of the floor. Bryson Neace stolen almost by Owen Radke, but Dirk Huff stole it back. Big time 3 from Huff. He gets it to go. Hit the front of the rim, and it just skied high and went right through the net. 25-17 now.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, quality care closer to home. You're listening to WKVI FM. 99.3. Knox, North Judson, Winnemac, playing the best of Vinyl Gold, a service of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
Fox News, I'm Daria Albinger. The shutdown has been averted. Congress has reached a deal to keep the lights on, at least for the time being. For the next few months, a stopgap spending measure will fund the federal government through mid-March. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer.
This is a good bill. It'll keep the government open and funds and helps Americans affected by hurricanes and natural disasters, helps our farmers, and avoid harmful cuts.
The measure provides more than $100 billion to hurricane victims. President Biden is expected to sign it sometime today. An arrest in a deadly car crash in Germany. 5 people were killed. Dozens were hurt when the vehicle plowed through a holiday market. America is listening to Fox News.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate, because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
They'll be locked up for a long time. I'm Harrison Silcox. You're listening to Network Indiana. You may have heard that Richard Allen, the man convicted in the Delphi murders, was sentenced to 130 years in prison. Carroll County Sheriff Tony Leggett hopes the victims' families can now begin to heal.
These families will live every day without two of the most important people in their lives. They're missing milestones because of a low-life coward decided to take their innocent lives.
Leggett speaking at a press conference Friday. Prosecutors said Allen put himself on the bridge the day of the murders and that it linked him to the crime scene with an unspent cartridge that was found there. A Central Indiana Police task force says they're cracking down on violent crime. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The Indiana Crime Guns Task Force is made up of local, state, and federal cops, and they say they've taken a lot of drugs and guns off the streets this year, including many with machine gun conversion devices.
The numbers have went up as far as our federal arrests this year, for sure. The firearms have been pretty consistent from last year with what we've seized. We have seized more machine gun conversion devices this year.
That's IMPD Lieutenant Jared Heidelball. Ryan Hedrick, Network Indiana.
A man is facing 5 decades behind bars for killing another man a couple of years ago. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office says John May shot and killed Timothy Lewis II in 2022. May tried running from the scene but was later caught by police. If you're heading to South Bend for the college football playoff game between IU and Notre Dame, be aware that some snow did fall there this morning, but the road should be clear by the time you head home.
I think the roads will actually improve, especially down toward Indianapolis. You could have some snow-covered roads earlier, so for some bursts of snow, I think most of that's going to clear up.
Michael Skipper with the National Weather Service in northern Indiana. Good luck leaving, though. Probably going to be a lot of traffic. Looks like there's plenty of people in South Bend. And the average price you're paying for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $3.13 a gallon, says Gas Buddy. That's above the national average by about 9 cents. You're listening to Network Indiana.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
From the K99.3 Weather Center, here's your forecast. Cloudy today with snow showers and a high about 29, wind chill about 20. 20% chance of any precipitation. Tonight, cloudy, low temp of 20, wind chill about 15. For Sunday, cloudy, high temp about 32, wind chill 16. Sunday night, cloudy, snow showers again, low of 27. Wind chill about 17. Your outlook for Monday, cloudy, wintry mix, and a high temp near 38. For your extended forecast 24/7, visit our website, WKVI.com. From the WKVI Weather Studio, it's 24.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
We are back for more from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. This is the longest running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line. It is time to talk about our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, sophomore standout basketball player from North Judson-San High School, Cailyn Tunis. Cailyn averaged 25.4 points per game through the 5 games leading up to our announcement of our Athlete of the Week. She hit 7 threes in one of those games against Boone Grove. As there were some key injuries the Lady Jays had gone through in that stretch, the sophomore stepped up and made it happen. Without further ado, here's my sit-down interview with sophomore basketball star from North Judson, Cailyn Tunis.
All right, I am with our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. It is Cailyn Tunis. Wow, Cailyn, quite an impressive performance the last several games, averaging over 25 points. It's really been impressive to watch you play in person, but to also hear from the coaches and a lot of other people in the area how special of a player you are. What is it about the sport of basketball that you love?
I really like the bond and connections it allows me to make with other players, and they don't only last through the season, they normally last a lifetime, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You play with such tenacity. You play very hard, but you're also a very good shooter. Where does the shooting ability come from?
I think it's just like always looking up and watching my older cousin play. And I always just wanted to be like someone that was known and stood out to people, so I always practiced a lot when I was shooting.
Yeah, well, as a freshman, you really stood out. Now you've taken the next step here in your sophomore year. Some key players on this team you think we should also know about besides yourself?
I actually think my whole team deserves a recommendation. We all work really hard, and even the girls that come off the bench, they give really good, solid minutes. And I think us each playing our role individually and just doing what we need to do makes us a good team.
Yeah, you've unfortunately had to deal with some injuries on this team, but you have taken that step in saying, hey, I can be a leader even as the sophomore. What has that stretch been like, that stretch in particular, why we're here today? What's that been like for you when you're in this zone? I mean, scoring 25 points is not easy on average, Cailyn. I hope you know that. What kind of zone are you in when you're leading this team right now?
I just knew that I had to step up, and I wanted to play for my teammates that couldn't play because I knew how bad they wanted to be on that court. And I just wanted to help my team out because I know they would always help me out.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are very close on this team. Everyone's supporting you. We posted on social media that you are Athlete of the Week, and a lot of your teammates were quick to share that. And I think that speaks volumes of this team as a whole. Would you say these are some of your best friends you're playing basketball with?
Yes, I 100% think that a lot of these people will be in my life for most of my life because we all just get along really well, and we're always there for each other no matter what, if it's basketball or not.
What were some of the goals that the coaching staff have set for this year's Lady J team?
We always want to out-rebound any team we play against. That's always like our big goal. We definitely want to win sectionals and maybe even hopefully regionals. So,
what was maybe a goal you had in mind? You know, coming from freshman year now to a sophomore, what was a goal that you personally wanted to achieve?
I definitely wanted to increase my free throw percentage and just make sure I do a lot better than I did last year because those points are really easy and I need those.
Tell us your parents' names.
My parents are Brian Tunis and Aaron Tunis.
And talk about the support system they are for you.
They've always given me endless support throughout my whole life, and they rarely ever miss a game. And they take me anywhere, and they never complain, no matter how far we travel for a tournament. There's never one time they complain. And they always encourage me and help me get better each and every day, so I'm really thankful for them.
What's it mean to Cailyn Tunis to be a North Judson-San Blue Jay?
Being a Blue Jay is amazing. It's like being a leader and showing good aspects, whether it's involved in a sport or not. It's like having like a second family because our community does so much for us Blue Jays.
Well, Cailyn, I sure do appreciate your time. Congratulations for being named one of our Tyler Roth WKVI Athletes of the Week.
Thank you.
Well, I thank Cailyn for her time. Also, shout out to Athletic Director Mike Sharkozy for helping me set that interview up. As we are going to take a break, more sports talk coming your way. This is the Saturday Sports Line.
It's Johnston driving in, back out to Tunis. There she is, near corner. Splash! Big time three! Cailyn Tunis is having a night. Cailyn Tunis spinning around, baseline, puts up a floater! She ties it up! 36 all here. 1 minute to go. Back out up top, big time three. Cailyn Tunis, baby! Splash! Big time three! 41-32.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Browns. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere. Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox. Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989. Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
The Saturday Sports Line continues with Kankakee Valley area coaches and special guests. Here's Sports Director Mitch Columbi.
Cole Jordan kicks it over to Dirk Huff, then back to Jordan, swings it over to Bryce and Neace. Now to the short corner. Kane Weber, dump off to Tegan Johnson, couldn't get it to go. Rebounded by Kane Weber, and his putback is good.
Back for more from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. This is the Saturday Sports Line. So glad you've joined us this morning. We're transitioning to talk with head coach of the Tri-Township Lady Tigers. It's Christian Porter. First time we've had him on the Saturday Sport. First time I have, anyway. Coach, glad to have you. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I think the last time you were here, me and Harold interviewed you about a book you wrote.
Yes. Yeah, it was all about Indiana high school basketball. I was like, I don't know what I was, 20 or something, and I got bored and wrote a book, and yeah, it all worked out. And
so you can get this book.
I not anymore. I think I have them in boxes now. I sold so many back then, and yeah,
very cool.
It was kind of just a bunch of Indiana high school basketball folklore, and
so you love Indiana high school basketball.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that.
He's a historian. Don't let him.
Yeah, I have a history teacher, so yeah.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that. So you played basketball evidently growing up.
Yeah. My grandpa went to Elston. And my uncle was the starting guard at Rogers with Delray Brooks. So that was the number one team in the nation, USA Today. So it's like...
Wait, you say your uncle?
My Uncle Jeff, yeah.
Okay. And my uncle brags about how he held Delray to his average at like 36 points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, and I was gonna say, and my uncle had about 10 of those assists to him. So yeah.
Every time I talk to my uncle, he says, "Yeah, I held Delray to his average, 36 points."
And where'd you go?
Where'd I got Westville?
Westville, okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the area.
Yeah.
So you know the Tri-Township Tigers. You take over. You're 7-5 right now. I know you're dealing with some injury bugs, unfortunately. Tough loss this past Tuesday to a very scrap and clawing team in the Culver Lady Cavaliers, 25-23. But you picked up a huge win last night against conference foe Boone Grove, 51-22. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I just stressed last night. You can't always, I told you the other night, you can't always choose whether that ball's going to go in the basket or not, but if you can play defense, you can give yourself a shot. So it was, halftime score was 29-2. So that's all play defense. Our foreign exchange student, Emma, she finally had a kind of a breakout game. She had 18 points last night. Jade had 14. And everybody got to play. We have a girl that was her last game. She's just a freshman, Callie. She's going to move to Virginia, but I got to play her a bunch. She ended up having 4 points and 8 rebounds, and
wow.
So that was pretty awesome to see that happen before she leaves. So
Jade Pryor gets her 1,000th career point. Only the second Lady Tiger to do that in the history. Of course, you coached Jade Pryor for several years, Chris. Man, it's got to be an honor to be able to coach somebody like that. A kind of a two-part question for both of you.
Yeah, it's definitely really special. Watching her come up through middle school, as the varsity coach, it's one of those situations that you kind of salivate over as a head coach because you know what's coming, you know what you're going to get. She's a gym rat. She's in the gym pretty much every day. She lives right across the street from the Tiger Den, so. One of those, you kind of give her the key, whatever. Hey, go ahead and shoot all you want.
Yep.
And her dad's been a coach in the program too for the longest time as the 8th grade girls basketball middle school coach. So again, just one of those kids that you know when they're coming, and you just can't wait for them to be at the varsity level. Tri-Township has another one of those kids. I'll go ahead and say it right now. Emily Hunke, just another gym rat. She's in 8th grade this year. So it is just one of those things. It's just special.
Well, Coach, I got to ask you, come in this year, first year, what was the goal, or did you have a goal in mind for this team?
I said it the other night. I'll say it again. It's like just play defense, force turnovers. That's kind of my thing. You can pride yourself and hang your hat on something like that, for sure. Man, just I don't know, I'm kind of lost for words, but
sure.
But just compete. That's all I care about. It's like just show up and compete. We went all around the state during the month of June, and that's really fun playing teams at Indianapolis, Shortridge, or Beech Grove, and things like that. And it's like we only had 93 kids in our high school, so it's you go and play in some bigger schools and stuff like that. So it's like just show them what you're made out of. That it doesn't matter about your size and things like that. So just pride yourself on hard work, being in the gym. He was just talking about being a gym rat. Like that's me. So if I can kind of influence the girls to be that way, then but yeah, I guess that would be my goal, would just be to work hard in everything you do. So
yeah, from just watching you in warm-ups the other day, or actually before Culver had got there, you were kind of going through some sets with the girls, and it seems like they really pay attention. It seems like they really respect you, Coach. It seems like they're all on the same page and they listen to you. Even when in the game, they look over and make sure they're paying attention to what you're calling out there. How important do you think communication is, especially in a first-year coach like that? You want to get on the same page, I assume, right away.
Yeah, for sure. And the way you're saying it, definitely, but also like if I can get them to communicate within a game, obviously that's huge. That's a controllable, right? So control the controllables, and that's something that you have no excuse to never do, is to talk and communicate with one another, pay attention to one another, and obviously pay attention to me. So for sure.
Who do you have helping you coach?
Allison.
This is our first time talking to you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have an assistant coach up until about 2 weeks actually into the season, and then so all summer, everything, it was all me. So then Allison Stills, her classroom's right next to mine. She played at Wheeler. And she volunteered not volunteer. She's going to obviously get paid, but she stepped in for sure. And her mom played college basketball and stuff like that. So so that's kind of nice. She understands the game. She gets it.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just somebody over there.
She went to Wheeler?
She went to Wheeler, yeah. And she's a really good volleyball player. But, so she's just not taking stats or anything like that. She's definitely has a lot of input, and the girls really like her, really respect her. So, I couldn't. It's a blessing because I didn't have anybody 2 weeks into the season. So
you got a little time off now. Christmas is off. New Year's is off. You won't be back in action until January 3rd, and you'll face another one of our area teams on the road in the Nest, the Lady Jays.
Yeah.
They're on a 10-game win streak right now, Coach.
Yeah, that's the Blue Jay way, right, Coach? yeah. So definitely. Definitely looking forward to that. We're at North Judson, so just got to keep injuries and things like that. Addison Hendrickson, hopefully will, if she's not back, she'll be back here that week. She'll be back, but she broke her hand at Culver Military and then proceeded to hit a 3-pointer with a broken hand at the end of the game. So. And then, Jade. Hopefully, get Jade. Jade's a little banged up right now. Briley Russ is a little banged up right now with a knee. So hopefully, we can kind of heal up. We're gonna go down to. I rented the Hoosier gym, so we're gonna go down to the Hoosier gym and have practice the day after Christmas. So,
just for fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's not much different from the Tiger Den, really. Right. Think about it. The Tiger.
You get to practice in the Hoosier gym every day.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. I've talked to him about that. That's got to be a lot of. You're like you said to me before, you're a historian.
Yeah.
So how awesome is it to coach in a historic place like the Tiger Den?
There's nothing like it. That's
pure Indiana basketball.
There's been talk. It's like, well, when are we ever gonna build another gym? I said, listen, I don't know if I'll coach if we're gonna play in a different gym. I love it too much. So, and obviously it has all its quirks, all its advantages. Lots of people don't realize it, but if you pull the pads off the stage, there's these big grates in the wall, and that's where the concession stand was when it was first built. So when you would take the ball out of bounds underneath the stage, people are looking. They're at foot level with you.
Oh,
so
my God!
They'd be chirping, jawing at you, whatever, trying to poke your legs, all that kind of stuff as you're taking the ball out of bounds.
You're kidding.
On the stage side, yeah.
Well, and like we had talked, you say 10 feet shorter,
74, yeah.
And they allow that, the IHSA, because it's the grandfathered in.
Right.
Is that the rule on that?
I think it's the last one. I don't know if Washington Catholic is down in Washington. The Birdcage is 74 or not, but I think it's the last 74-foot court in the state that's played on.
Yeah, I got a funny story about that. The first time we went to Ileana Christian.
Oh man,
they got a college court. They got a college court, and so it's 94 foot long, and so.
Okay.
It took my girls a long time to get acclimated. They kept setting up the offense because the offense that I ran was, predicated on hitting your spots and landmarks and all that. And so they were setting, 10 foot farther away. I'm girls, you got to get closer to the basket. The court's a lot longer. So it took us a little bit to get acclimated. And, that's one of those. And it's always funny when an opposing team comes in, usually the first time they go to throw a long court pass, they airmail it about 20 feet over a girl's head because they're not used to it being so short.
Yep.
Well, and then one thing we kind of talked about on Tuesday with Terry Minix, our color commentator, was, when you full court press in the Tiger Den, you really realize the spacing is there's not much space. You really kind of realize how much space is taken up. And you guys did a good job of also doing some full court pressing as well. But to have that as a home court advantage, I'd say that's a good thing for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. And we have a Jade being 5'9". When Addison's in, Addison's 5'9", got long arms. And then Emma, for a shade shoot, she's 5'10" with long arms. And last night I put her at the top of a press, and she caused a lot of problems. So definitely. And years ago they used to stick Andrew McCormick, who has like a 7-foot wingspan at the top of a 1-3-1. Jump out of the gym, and he would
cover the whole court.
Yeah, when I was with Jeff Minster, we put him at the top of it. It caused a lot of problems. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Another player that stuck out was Lupita Osorono. She's grown up from 2 years ago when I first met her, and then now. She's handling the rock pretty good for your girls.
Yeah, she realizes that's her role, and we're just going to keep working at it. The past 2 years she hasn't played a ton of varsity and stuff, but now all summer she was the point guard. All this winter so far she's been the point guard, and she constantly always texting me, what can I do? What can I work on? What can I do with you? Or what can Miss Stills help me with and stuff? So she's always wanting to get better for sure. to instill some confidence in her.
Well, Coach, I sure do appreciate you coming in and chatting with us about the Lady Tigers. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to your family, and we'll stay in touch.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, that is head coach of the Tri-Township Lady Tigers. It is Christian Porter here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to take a break and come back. We weren't able to get with head coach Kenny Nielsen of the West Central Trojans wrestling team. They're in a meet right now, so he is unavailable. So we're going to slide in Adam Neace, head coach of the Culver Lady Cavaliers, in his place. He's up next. Don't go anywhere.
Cole Jordan kicks it over to Dirk Cuff, then back to Jordan, swings it over to Bryce Neace. Now to the short corner. Kane Weber, dump off to Tegan Johnson, couldn't get it to go. Rebounded by Kane Weber, and his putback is good. You can feel the tension in the air, these two teams. Like we had talked about in the pregame show, I've talked to some boys. I won't name names or on which team, but what they said is if you lose to the Redskins or if you lose to the Blue Jays, don't even bother coming home tonight. That's how much this rivalry means, as here's a big splash from Josiah McDaniel. Huge three, 28-19.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student-athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
One of our hometown businesses here in our area in Monterey, it's LAP Waste.
Being able to recycle is one of our main goals at LAP Waste. Being able to say that we only take about 8% of our trash to the dump is pretty impressive for us, and we hope to keep building on that.
We service an 80-mile circle from Monterey. If you have a small job, big job, or just have a one-time, we are here to make a difference in this area.
And that phone number, Kirby?
574-542-4019.
It's time now for more local sports talk from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Time to talk Culver Lady Cavalier basketball with head coach Adam Neace. I've got him on the line as we are back for the Saturday Sports Line. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, Mitch. How we doing?
I am doing fantastic, man. We've talked a lot this week. We saw your girls twice, and have they got some fight in them? Of course, a couple of weeks ago against South Central on the road, didn't go your guys' way. 36-29 was the final. But since that time, you picked up wins against Trinity Greenlawn, another one of our area teams, the Oregon Davis Lady Cats. Tough loss to your crosstown rival, Culver Academy. Then you picked up the win in the historic Tiger Den against the Tri-Township Lady Tigers. Man, was that a battle. And even that next game, the loss against the North Judson-San Lady Blue Jays, those two games, I mean, it just feels like this team is turning the corner and starting to play basketball the way you want to see it.
I completely agree, Mitch. And I say after that South Central game, I say we really turned the corner. Again, we didn't like the way we played that Saturday night up there at the launch pad. And coming out of that, again, practices have been more intense. what we've done in game-wise stuff, it's been more intense. And, again, the girls have really responded from that night. I'm really excited about what we've got going forward.
Huge win last night against Career Academy. You hold them to 4 points, Coach. I mean, that's got to be hard. I mean, just for their sake, that had to be tough.
Yeah, it was tough. But, again, we were just looking to execute there at the end. We wanted to have good ball movement. We were looking to try to set good screens and just try to do the fundamental things there at the end of it. Again, defensively, we were really stout. We liked what we saw, but again, we got to work a lot more offensively there in the second half, and we really liked what we saw.
That's the third game this season, Coach, that you guys have cracked 60 points in a girls' basketball game. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's only actually happened 9 times in the past 10 years.
Wow.
And we've done it 3 times this year. So.
Well, you've had a lot of highlights. You got the bell against Argus. You're starting to really piece things together. Amaya Williams, we talked in the KVB halftime show last night in Knox about how she's finally coming together. The aggressiveness from between her and Ava McCune, it seems almost. I mean, the girls are just playing off that.
Yeah, those are our Energizer bunnies, as we like to say. When those girls bring it, everybody else kind of says, all right, hey, I got to bring it too. And they're great leaders. Again, Ava's so mature for a freshman.
She is.
She doesn't look like a freshman. She doesn't act like a freshman. And we absolutely love everything about Ava and what she brings to the table. And, again, it's such a great thing having both of those girls as our Energizer bunnies. I have AJ on my staff, my little brother, and he had him in girls soccer. And, again, he had one in the front. Ava would play offense, and Amaya was the one in the back end. And they really work off each other. And just to see them transition into the basketball season with that, it's been wonderful.
Well, several of our area teams are done through Christmas, but not you. You see North Miami on Monday. The 23rd, you'll host them, so it will be a nice home game at John R. Nelson Gymnasium. It's a conference matchup.
Yeah, new conference opponent. We're really excited about that. Now, we got to see them first game of the year. We didn't know how the volleyball season was going to end, so me and Coach Barrett went down there on a trip, first game of the year, and got a good live scout of them, and now we finally get to use it about a month and a half later. And we're really excited about another conference matchup, opportunity to get to 4-2, stay in those top 3 spots in the conference standings and really look to achieve some goals here.
Yeah, I'm looking at North Miami's schedule. They haven't played since December 10th, so they will have had 13 days off by the time they see you in Culver. Of course, North Miami, that'll be quite a trip. We know the boys' Culver team last night had to make that trek to North Miami. Now North Miami girls will have to come up to Culver on Monday. After that game, you will have Christmas and New Year's off. You won't be back in action until January 9th, and that's where the road trip starts. At Caston, at Frontier, at Triton. And man, that is, and then there's a tournament. It looks like what tournament is that?
That's the bi-county.
That's the bi-county. Okay.
Yep.
So
we drew Triton in the first round of that.
So you got to play Triton back to back. But man, it seems like here at the latter portion of the season, I can't believe we're already here, Coach. Do you like where this team is at?
I do like where we're at. I really do, Mitch. I think defensively, we're right where we thought we'd be. Offensively, we're finally starting to find our pace. We're finally starting to find our space, and we're finding angles to play with. And, again, if we can do those 3 things offensively, we're going to be very successful. We like what we've got going forward. Now we can finally get a little break. We've been playing a lot of back-to-back games or back-to-back, and then you have a day off, and then you got another 2. So, again, it's going to be nice for the girls to have a little break, a couple days off, and then we'll get them in. Again, get to hone some stuff down in practice, and then be ready for the second half of the season.
Yeah, let's talk about that Tri-Township game. You go into the Tiger Den, and in a low-scoring affair, 25-23 was the final. It was a battle, Coach, a story of 2 halves, honestly. The first half, the Tri-Township was able to do what they wanted to do, and then in the second half, you guys really turned it on and made things happen. Talk about that wave of emotions in that game.
Yeah, really it started in the first quarter, Mitch. We got down 9-1.
Yeah,
and it was it was just real tough to see the girls. They kind of hung their heads a little bit, and we told them right there at the quarter break, pick your heads up. It's okay. That's just a couple possessions for us Cavaliers. And again, the girls started just to, hey, let's chip away at it. We got it to 16-9 at halftime, and we're going into halftime thinking, hey, what can we do? Defensively, we were feeling pretty good, but we knew we were going to have to get stops to do it, to finish this thing out. And we finally were able to put the ball in the basket here in the second half. And we told them in the locker room, just find a way, ladies, no matter what the situation is. If you're out position going for a rebound, if there's a ball on the floor, just find a way to get after it, find a way to get it. And good things are going to follow after that. And lucky enough, we had some success after that, and credit to our girls. Again, Tri-Township's a great program. Prior girl was tough. We knew she was a tough assignment for us, and we were really excited about the way we played against her and held her down. And then going into Judson that next night, or 2 nights later, we held Tunis to 2 points.
Yes.
And again, we really take pride in what we do defensively. That's our identity. That's what we want to be known for. Again, when teams see Culver on the schedule, we want them to be, oh, man, we do not want to play them right now. They're so good defensively. We want to make coaches have nightmares at night. That's our job as a staff, and we've got a really good staff that does it. And, again, we're really excited about what we got going in the second half of the season.
That's really kind of what we talked about with head coach Whitney Combs in the post game on Thursday night. She had talked about how you made them have to work so hard for that win. And then she mentioned, it could be a sectional opponent as well.
Yeah, we should see them again, as we like to say here, come February. We like to see them later on. Hopefully the draw is real nice. But again, we like our chances. We went into their place and battled them really hard. Very good team, very good coaching staff over there, Whitney and Denver. Known Denver a long time, played against Denver in high school. Good ball player, great basketball mind. And again, we're excited for the challenge. We love playing good competition. And again, it's getting everybody better. It's getting the entire community around us better. And we love seeing that. Girls basketball's hot right now, Mitch, and it's a great thing to be around.
Well, and you never want to lose, and I know the girls never want to lose, but even off that loss to North Judson, because of the way you fought and kept it within 5 there, 39-34, I mean, you had to take some positives and some confidence away from that game.
Yeah, it's all about giving yourself opportunities, a chance at the end. And if you can battle all night long, give everything you got, you can't hang your head after that. Again, they just got it. The ball went in a little more for them that night. And again, we'll adjust to that, and we'll figure out a better game plan to make sure we put the ball in the hole a couple more times.
Well, Coach, I sure do appreciate you being available at the drop of a hat like this. It means a lot to get you on here. Good luck this coming Monday at home against North Miami. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Appreciate you, Mitch, and everything you guys do for all of us here in Cavalier Land. Merry Christmas to you guys, and go Cavs.
That is head coach. We appreciate you. That is head coach of the Culver Lady Cavaliers. It is Adam Neace here on the Saturday Sports Line. Well, what a great show this has been. We're going to go to the Where Are They Now segment with Harold Welter. That's up next. Don't go anywhere. This is the Saturday Sports Line.
Way too much adrenaline, hold the line. Josiah McDaniel crosses the timeline, crossing over Dirk Cuff, going inside Euro. Beautiful play, Josiah McDaniel. There is the play we've been waiting for from him. It's the time without you. You spell it all out in black and white. I'm done. Logan Bradkey, far side of the floor. Oh, nice little move there. The Euro worked for Logan Bradkey, and he gets it off the glass. The Jays are opening things up here in the fourth, 30-19, and head coach Jason Breeden will call the timeout. But I don't want to be just another one of your skeletons. 6 feet deep, like could have been so sweet, bro. Fasten your seatbelts, call the police when I start to believe it. Everybody round here's got everybody round here.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of local high school sports coverage on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
Well, as we look back on more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley here on WKVI, our guest is Pete Bradley, a 1991 graduate of Knox High School, and we call this segment, Where Are They Now? So, Pete, where are you now, and what are you doing?
I just moved back from Tennessee about a year ago today, and I'm living back in Knox, and been at Braun there in Winnemac just about a year now. So, got 2 kids. My son Zane's 24, my daughter Cailyn's 19, and I've got 2 grandkids. Jack Bradley's 4, and my youngest grandson, Bo Bradley, is a 1-year-old.
Wow. So going back to when you were a high school athlete at Knox, boy, you had quite a career. You were a 4-year letter winner in both cross country and track. You were all conference, advanced to the semi-state and cross country 3 years in a row. You broke the Knox cross country record twice in 1 week. And
I tell you, there was a crazy story behind that. So in marching band, a lot of times we had to show up before school started and have practice. So my mom always told me to walk with your head down, and if you find change, pick it up. And she always told me that if you find a heads-up penny, that's a sign of good luck. And that morning, I was out there in the parking lot at the high school, and I got down and saw a heads-up penny, and I stuck it in my sock. And the thing was, I went out after school that day and had a meet, and I broke the cross country record. And I've been chasing that thing for about 4 years. And I got home that night, and I got undressed to take a shower, and I heard something hit the floor, and I'm like, oh man, I ran with that penny in my the bottom of my foot in my sock that race, and I totally spaced it off. So 2 days later, I put that penny back in my sock, and I ran again, and I broke it again. And then I get home after that meet, and I made the mistake of chucking it in a pile of change that I had in my dresser in the bedroom, and I lost the lucky penny. Oh. That's the story about what happened that week. Yeah, it was a great week.
I guess. And you had a lot of great weeks. I mean, in track, you qualified for the regional and the state and the 1600 several times. I think you might still hold a 1600 record at Knox.
Still have the 1600 record, and I still have the old cross-country record, because the old one, we used to run the sand hills right there behind the VFW, and then they did away with that. And it was explained to me, just like when Fred Kim ran, because it was a different course then, that if you break a record on a course and then they use the course, that record's forever sealed. So that one I had, and then of course the new cross country record, I still have that one now too. So it's I was surprised that it's held out for this long. I would love to coach a kid that can go out and break it. I mean, that's my goal, is to always show somebody a better way of doing things and now technology.
Well, let me ask you this. You already talked about the excitement of breaking that record twice in the same week, but other than that, of all the meets that you participated in back in the day, besides the one you just described where you had that great week, what's the one that sticks out in your mind more than any others all these years later?
There's probably 2, and one of them I won. The second one I lost. The first one, it was in 8th grade, and that's when kids were really involved as a team and cheering athletes on and teammates. And it was we were undefeated. Culver was undefeated, and at the end of the track meet that day, it came down to the mile relay, and they stuck me on the anchor. And so the race starts, and I'm looking next to this kid from Culver that's going to run against me, and the kid's about 6'4", and I'm like, oh man, I got my hands full. And they were ahead of us when he got the baton. They were a quarter of a lap ahead of us. But back then, the whole team would run just about alongside you and cheer you on. So this kid, when I get the baton, he's a quarter lap ahead of me, and I wound up catching him at the end and beating him, and we won undefeated that season. My second one, I was at Bremen, and I didn't play football in high school, and I always thought Gene Skirvin had it out for me because I didn't, but I was a scrawny runt. And we were at Bi-County and, running against a lot of schools. So I'm in the 800, and they draw for positions, and I'm the rabbit. So, if you know the 800 and it's a staggered start, I'm all the way in the front on the outside. To me, it's the worst place to be. But I trained myself to never look back to see if someone's close, because that shows a sign of weakness. So the gun goes off, I take off, and after the first lap, I can cut in, and I cut in to the inside lane there, and I'm still in the lead. And I was in the lead the whole time. And at the very end of the race, I saw something in the corner of my eye, and I leaned, and so did this individual. And it was a photo finish. They had to take some time and see who won it. And come to find out, that was a state champion that I just about beat that day. And Gene Skirvin came over that day, and he told me, he's like, that's the gutsiest race I've ever seen any kid run. He goes, I'm really proud of you. So him and I've, we've talked several times after that. Both of those are my two favorites.
Of course, you had some kids pushing you in your high school career as well that helped you a whole lot, didn't you?
Absolutely. I had Brad Shively, and there was Mark Young. We just had a lot of guys, that and we cheered each other on. It wasn't competitive, and we really wanted the best, for each of us at the end of the day.
Let me ask you this, Pete. Growing up in Knox and in that area, who were some of the people who were like your role models or people who helped you be so successful in athletics?
The first one I have to think is Kenny Wagner, my neighbor. He was the one that got me into running. So he was a wrestling coach, and he was very what's the word I'm looking for here? Competitive, I guess. And we played a lot of basketball in the alley. And so I noticed at nighttime he was getting off of work at co-op, and then he was putting on some running shoes and taking off jogging. So the one day I stopped and I asked him, I said, where are you going? He says, well, I go over to the track every night. And we both live 2 blocks from the middle school and Cinder Track. He's like, if you want to run, meet me here, tomorrow night. So Mom got me a pair of shoes from Toto, where a lot of kids did back day, and we didn't have a lot of money. And so I joined him, and I ran with him, over there, and I ran a couple laps, and I had to stop, and Kenny just puffs his chest out, and he's chirping at me, and he knows what buttons to push, and he's like, just start walking. If you got a cramp, bend over a little bit, push in where it hurts, and after that, put your hands over your head, open up your lungs, and when you get your breath back, start running again. And I did that week after week. And it got to the point where we would run over to the middle school together, and then we were jogging back together. So he's like, okay, so tomorrow night, meet me here. We'll jog over, and whoever stops first is the loser. I said, okay. So we go over there, and Kenny stops first. And so I got to give it right back to him, and he went home, and I came back home about an hour later, and he said, tell me you weren't running the whole time. I was like, yeah. He's like, how many laps you do? I said, 24. He says, you ever heard of cross country? I was like, I'm not running across the country. He's like, no, it's a sport. They have courses. So he's the first guy I have to thank for getting me into it. And then my family doctor, Dr. Howard Henry, amazing. To me, the godfather of running here in Stark County, and being my doctor, him starting to follow me, through newspaper clippings and such. He says, he was old school. I went in for my school physical, and he tapped my kneecaps and, for a reflex, and they both kick out. He'd say, how you feel? I said, I feel great. And he's like, he always got excited. He says, let me hear that heartbeat. And so he put the stethoscope on me. He's like, 40 years a doctor, and you still have the slowest heartbeat I've ever heard in my life. He goes, stick with it. Ray Carey was another guy, ran with Doc a lot. And so Ray was a big inspiration. And I also have to thank my two coaches, Mark Wagner and Rob Kruger.
We're talking with Pete Bradley, a 1991 graduate of Knox High School, and we'll continue our conversation after this timeout.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Pete Bradley, a 1991 graduate of Knox High School. Let me ask you this. Pete, you played a lot of sports in high school. What did you gain from being a high school athlete that has helped you in life?
I would say the first thing is discipline, commitment, and to not only learn how you can push yourself physically, because once you break that point, it becomes mental. And I really surprised myself on, my legs have really took me places. I started running in the 8th grade because I was a scrawny runt. Like I said, I played football 6th and 7th grade year, and one of the fastest kids on a team, but I didn't get a lot of playing time. So after my running with Kenny Wagner and I started running, I showed up the first day of practice, and Mark Wagner says, "Son, where have you been?" And then he just a lot of, like I said, a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. The days that you're tired, you learn to show up, and that transpires into your job force. When you work, there could be times you wake up in the morning and thinking, I can't do this, and you tell yourself, you've done a lot harder than this. So, get dressed and go to work, son. So, yep, that's. I would say those are the two things.
Finally,
I'd say also respect for the other athlete too. I was a person that I didn't have. I mean, I had rivals, but I've been friends with every one of them since. I was a person, if I came in first place, I stood at the finish line, I shook everybody's hands, or if somebody beat me, I would shake your hand out of respect and, say, hey, thanks for, giving me one heck of a race.
Well, you made your mark around the whole area. I think you at one time broke the course record, of course, at Knox, but you also broke the Bremen course record, the West Central course record, the LaVille course record. So you knew a lot of athletes around, and a lot of schools were very familiar with you.
I did, and actually, and I never asked what the course record was. I just went out, and sometimes it would just be me against the clock, and Coach Wagner wouldn't, he would stick with me. He's like, keep it up, you're doing all right, and finish hard, and I did. And after several meets, to say, hey, we just, they had their head hung. We just thought we'd let you know that you just broke our course record, and what a surprise! It was like Christmas, every time I heard that. And then I've seen some of these coaches 20 years from now, and of course I'm built different than what I was back then, unfortunately. But as soon as I say my name, they're like, oh yeah, I remember. He's like, man, you were tough. So the day I broke the mental record, we were up at a school, if they had a Wheeler, or somewhere up there by Valpo, and their coach came up to me and he says, hey, they just asphalted a new track. The times are coming across pretty quick, and if there's any record that you want to break, this is the track to do it. And Coach Wagner says, what do you want? I said, all of them. He said, well, pick one. So I said, I want that mile record. I said, it's been haunting me for years, and I went after it. And Coach Wagner gave me the splits, and when I heard that last lap, and I was up a few seconds, and I took off, I was like, I got it, So it was a very exciting day.
I guess. Finally, Pete, and I know you've done some coaching at the lower levels in various sports, but what advice do you give to some of those young athletes that might be out there listening to this? What advice would you give them if they want to have the kind of success that you had?
Put in the extra work. That's, to me, is ground zero. You know, you see these kids wrestling, and the kids that start out on one-on-one wrestling, you know, at a young age, they really seem to be successful. Besides my coaching, there was no internet or anything, so I read a lot of Runner's World, and I took notes, and I tried different techniques and different workouts, and I was constantly doing things. Sometimes before school, you know, I'd run an hour before even class started, and the swim teacher at the time, Mrs. Sennert, she would let me in the swimming area, and I would run the stairs up and down. I'd go to the middle school, and I would run the bleachers. I would run sand hills, sprints. I tried to be as adverse as I could. I was one of the faster sprinters, but I was never really put in those races. I knew I needed that for the kick at the end of my race, and then I also, you know, wanted to do the distance. So I tried to be as adverse so they could put me anywhere where they needed, and I think I could get the job done.
Thanks so much for taking time and visiting with us and reminiscing about some of the really glory days of Knox High School sports. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate all the excitement you provided for Redskin fans back those many years ago.
Thank you very much, Harold. And if any of those athletic directors are listening, I coached at Knox junior high basketball, cross country, and track for 2 years, and I've never lost as a coach. I've had several parents ask me about applying for different jobs at Knox and other schools, and with my schedule right now, I'm available. So you let me know, and I'll make it happen.
And you're undefeated as a coach.
Never lost as a coach. 3 seasons, 2 basketball seasons, 2 track and cross country seasons, and my team has never lost. I've never lost as a coach.
Okay, athletic directors, did you hear that? Our guest on Where Are They Now has been Pete Bradley, an 1891 graduate of Knox High School. Join us again next week on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winnemac High School who died as a result of an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 8 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winnemac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is Hunter Clemons, a member of the wrestling team at Knox Community High School. Hunter had a big win at their heated rival North Judson-San this past week after bumping up a weight class to run his record to 6-2 on the season. The Knox Redskins wrestling team is putting things together well. We, of course, have talked with head coach Julio Cisneros in the past. We will work on getting an interview with him as well as we congratulate Hunter Clemons for being named our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. Hunter is the son of Amber and Jason Clemons. He will receive a certificate and history of the award commemorating his achievement and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. He will be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac. I'll make sure to get with Mr. Clemons in the new year as that wraps up the final Saturday Sports Line of the 2024 calendar year. We will be off next Saturday and the following Saturday. The next Saturday Sports Line is scheduled for January 11th, so don't forget that. Next 2 weeks, we are taking off. We will see you all in the new year. Until that time, make sure to enjoy yourselves, get out and about throughout the holiday season. I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Until 2025, I'm Mitch Columbi. The tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Columbi and Sports Analyst Chris McGowan.